Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Music Mondays and Workshop Wednesday. I hope you're well. Been a minute since we've done one of these, post Cyberfest especially, so it's about time we get back on this. And if you don't know, Workshop Wednesday is our monthly series. Will we be sitting down with creatives such as vocalists, producers, engineers. We're going to walk through their creative process and really learn a bit about them, what they do creatively, and really dive into the mind of an artist. So, this is episode 2 of Workshop Wednesday, and this month we have a very special guest known as Michael Jones. Michael, welcome to the show, my friend.
What up, what up, what up, what up, what up?
So, it's been a minute, my friend. Post Cyberfest, we've actually sat down for a podcast in the past, a written interview. But today we're doing something a little bit different here on Workshop Wednesday. So, before we get started, tell us a little bit about yourself and how long you've been a producer.
I've been producing, I'd say taking it serious since I was about 19, 20 years old. Yeah, about 20 years old. And I'm 25 now, just turned 25 a month ago. My name's Michael Jones. I'm from Atlanta. If you read my interview with you before, I think it was about 8 months ago now.
Just about like February.
Yeah, with my boy Jay. I'm from Atlanta, moved to Houston, and yeah, I'm a DJ, producer, and just an artist all around. I get down on some vocalist or vocal work. I get down on some artwork. I get down on engineering. I get down on photography and videography. I do a lot. I wear a lot of caps.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better myself, my friend. So a couple more questions before we get started. What originally really inspired you to become a producer, and what are your favorite aspects about production?
Wow, wow, that's a crazy, crazy, crazy question. Considering I have an album that's going to be coming out soon called 13. That around that time, when I was about 12, 13, I remember watching. I'd always been into I love Dead Mouse. I loved Skrillex at the time. A lot of people, a lot of different EDM artists. I loved a lot of different bands, from Korn to Slipknot, 311, System of a Down, a little bit of Limp Bizkit, like literally whatever, Aerosmith, you know. Um, so I always knew I wanted to get into music because my brother did it as well. He was a musician. He's a very good guitarist.
Right.
And I always knew I wanted to get into music. And around that time, 12, 13, Ultra Music Festival started live streaming there like each day in Ultra Music Festival Miami. They started live streaming their whole festival on YouTube. And I mean, me being 13, 14, whatever, that was awesome to me. I don't have to pay anything. I can watch all my favorite artists at a festival and not be there. I mean, of course, I wanted to be there, but I couldn't be there. So at that point, I knew I wanted to set out a goal of playing a festival, not necessarily mainlining it or anything or headlining it, but just playing a festival like Ultra Music Festival or whatever.
Right.
And yeah, that's basically what made me want to start being a DJ, and then without me knowing at the time, a producer. I thought I didn't really understand the producing aspect of it. You know, I just understood. I just saw my favorite artist playing my favorite music with behind a turntable. So I was like, oh, I need the turntable. That's all I knew. You know.
Right. Right. Very simple.
Yes, I mean, a 13-year-old, 12-year-old. I mean,
You were
not the
just like,
brightest.
yeah, no, you were just like, you know what? That's what I got to do, and you made it happen. No, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah,
So,
the first thing I did was gotten a very like shitty $100 plastic turntable controller, from Apple Store.
right. That's awesome. That is, see, these are the stories that we only hear on uh episodes like Workshop Wednesday, man. Truly. So,
Yeah, and from the source.
right. Fast forward to 2022. You have multiple bodies of work out, including instrumentals, um, songs that you've produced. What are some tracks that you consider to be your favorites? What are some songs that you were involved in, produced, or even put out yourself that you consider some of your favorites?
Wow. Right now, I'm big on Cain and Abel with me and 777 Fury. Uh, me and Fury went insane on that song. I think it's one of the most crisp um, mixes I have, production wise,
Mm-hmm.
and him vocal wise too. He's come a very long way with his vocal work, and I think I've come a very long way with my mixing work as well, and as long with my melodies, my sample work, and my bass lines. I love the bass line in that song. I love the melody in that song. I also really like Love to Hate with him. That's a little bit of an older song. I think it came out December of 2022, something like that. Love that song. I mean, that very close to my heart. I've made a song with Kuma when he was Ayame uh, that you can only hear on a mix on my SoundCloud called The Death of Ayame, and he wanted me to make this mix with all his Ayame songs before he changed to Kuma.
Right.
And it was, as the mix says, the death of Ayame.
That's
Um,
fire.
and the first song on there is a song you cannot hear anywhere else because he deleted it everywhere, and I still give him shit to this day about it. It's sampling "Lonely Day" by System of a Down. It's Ayame or Kuma
Mm-hmm.
and Junior Ending. And again, to this day, I want Junior Ending to come back to making music. This is a beacon to Junior if he watches this, or anybody that knows Junior Ending. Hit him up and tell him that Michael Jones wants him to start rapping again. Not even rapping, just making music again. I just want his art. That's it.
Sending out the bat signal, literally.
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so very good answer. You know, there's so much lore to Michael Jones, as
Yeah.
far as production and artists that you've worked with and things like that. So before we hop in, and my last question to you as a producer is, what are some of your goals and sort of your end all be all as a producer? What do you want out of music and out of production?
Well, one thing for sure is I do, like I said, I do want to be a part of a big festival. I want to be on stage in front of a lot of people. I want to move that crowd. I love doing it. I know I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
The the couple shows that I have played, that have been an okay, decent size. I'd say the biggest one's about 100 people there. Uh, I moved. I think me and the people that was with me on that set was able to move and control a good majority of that crowd.
Right, right.
And uh, of course, you're not gonna owe it. I mean, when you're my level, the level I was at the time, you're not going to get a whole crowd, especially one that doesn't know who you. I mean, it was up in Detroit. Me personally, they didn't know who the fuck I was. I'm in Houston,
Mm-hmm.
The only people that they would have known is Junior or Kuma. Um, and that's it. The other two people, Dredd and Kale, they were from Chicago, outside Chicago and Ohio at the time, so they were outsiders as well. And I mean, for three outsiders and two like hometown boys, that aren't the biggest, at the time, or like, they don't have the biggest pool. They're not fucking Babytron or anything. For
Right,
us to
right.
be able to take over a crowd like that, I think it's okay.
Fuck
Granted,
yeah,
this
of
was a couple of
course.
years ago, but
Hell
I
yeah.
think that's good. And somebody did go through a TV set that time, so through that set or during that set. So there's that. It was outside, and we hear a big crash. We look up. There's a giant TV, and somebody went through it, and there was a lot of alcohol pertaining to it.
They started a wrestling match outside.
Basically, the Ends boys got down. The Ends boys got down.
That's
But I mean,
awesome.
we're all up to bigger and better things now, and like this podcast.
Right, right. So that's, such a great answer there. Everybody has a certain dream that they're trying to make a reality, and I think that's one you can definitely make a reality. Absolutely.
Yeah, just be on a festival. And obviously, that's not right now, it's the end all be all. But like, once I get to that point, I mean, there's going to be a bigger goal.
Of course.
And that's just my goal musically right now. I got little goals coming up to that, like, pertaining to it to lead up to that. But that is in a couple of years, I do want to be at that spot.
Let's go, man. Let's fucking go. No, that's what I love to hear. That's what I love to hear. So let's hop into this. Let's get down to the nitty gritty of Workshop Wednesday. What do you have in store for us today, Michael?
Well, I'm assuming you're on the stream right now. You're watching my screen.
We are live and in color, my friend.
Oh no, like I know that, but I mean, you're just watching my screen, like the screen share.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So, I always start with a sample. This is actually a feature or co-production that I've done with my boy Mikal that just moved from PA down to Houston. He's a he uses FL2. He's a very talented um, melody, maker, I believe. If that's the term, I don't know, but he's a good producer. Right? Like fuck the term. He's
Yeah,
a good producer.
yeah,
You
for
know.
sure, for sure.
So
I feel like loop maker maybe was a term I used to see a lot. Loop maker
yeah,
was
for
was a
sure.
very common term there.
Yeah, and so he made the sample, and from there I just made the. I worked on it a little bit, and then added the drums, etc. Did a little bit to the sample, as you can see there. Chopped it up just a tad, and yeah, we can get into this. So he worked with a. Unfortunately, I don't have the MIDI anymore. The MIDI uh, uh, piano roll because we turned it into a an audio file.
Yeah, for sure,
But
for sure.
yeah,
Very common thing to do.
yeah. As you can see, I don't really do that with my drums at all. But yeah, he made something very similar to what I would think Future would get on, or something like that. This makes me think of some Atlanta shit. Either that or some West Coast shit, you know? So I immediately started thinking, all right, I can put some crazy snares on there. So I worked around, as you can see, I worked with a lot of Boy Wonder drums, and then a little bit of Nick Mira drums as well, and not much else. I mean, I like it to keep a lot of sounds I use only in a couple of packs.
I agree.
So that way, if I can, or just stuff that I make, I'm tuning myself, etc. That way, if I do need to tune stuff, it's not too much work. Most of this, like, if a pack is all tuned to C, or if a couple of things are tuned to C in one pack, I can probably guess and just go ahead and say like the rest of the pack is all tuned to C.
Right, for
If
sure, for sure.
if I go into a pack and the first thing I pull up is like it's tuned to G, and then the next one's tuned to a different note, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna have to go through and like make sure I know what each one of these, what note it's tuned to, etc. So it's a little bit more time. So if I do find one pack that I know what I'm working with, like, immediately I will stick to it a little bit, and I
Right.
know these packs well.
See, now that's such a great tip for any producers out there looking to upgrade their work efficiency, right? That's a really good tip.
So I immediately went into the Boy Wonder sound pack that I got off Splice. So all these, obviously a sample he made, so that's don't have to worry about anything there. But all these drums I got off Splice, and they're free to use on the aspect of you're paying a subscription for Splice. A little bit of Splice ad here. You feel me? Give me my money,
Hashtag
Splice.
ad. Hashtag
You
ad.
know,
Splice, hit us up, man. Splice, come on.
give me my money. But no, I do use them a lot. There's some mediocre stuff on there, but there's also some really good sounds on there too. I sample from them a lot.
Yeah.
So I got my snare, and I wanted something atmospheric. So I heard this, I was like, yes, I need that. I need that. And originally, I believe it was around. I think originally it was around 170 BPM. Yeah, it was around 170 BPM at the beginning. So it was a little bit faster. I was like, I like that. I like that a lot. It almost gives me like a Detroit feel with the bum bum bum. His synth work. I really liked his synth work. Really liked his synth work. So I slowed it down a tad, and then added a clap to layer on the snare, just to give it more atmosphere.
Right.
And I layer my snares and my claps a lot, just a lot. And whenever I put a new sound on there, I always tune it immediately. So imagine where is it? The first thing I pull up is the snare. That's the first thing I put in here. Which it was. The first thing I did was the 808, which this isn't labeled. This is bad advice right here. I need to color code this or at least label them. You should.
Right. At
But
least labeling definitely helps with some more
yeah.
work efficiency there for sure.
I just know what I'm doing, or what I'm working with already, not what I'm doing. I don't ever know what I'm doing. I know what I'm working with here. I know what's routed to what. So like, I just memorize that shit.
For
But it's
sure.
a bad habit to do. But I get my snare. I always say the snare is the first thing I pull up. I always tune it. So I take off if there's loop points, which normally there is. I take off the loop points, and then I right click. If you're in FL, this is one of the only ways I really know how to find the pitch of something. You know what note it's playing. If there's a simpler way, let me know. You know, if you use FL, let me know. If I go into pitch correction, it's gonna pull up new tone on your master, so just be aware of that.
Mhm.
Just because it needs a place to go. And then I just kind of see what's it at. Okay, it's at F, so it's tuned to F. See here. See, I tuned it to F. So it's normally going to be tuned to C always. Just tune it to F, and there you go. And then you always make sure you get rid of new tone because it can just add some funky stuff to your project. Make it crash or make it just do whatever. New tone makes my MacBook crash all the time.
Yikes.
It's annoying. That's the reason why I produce on PC mostly. But yeah, I kept this pretty bare because I need to mix this anyway. So I figured this is uh, the perfect beat to bring up anyways because it's not done really. You know, I need to possibly do a little bit more with the arrangement and just mix down everything. You know, as you can see, there's not anything on my mixer right now. So to bring it up, I got it tuned. Now I typically bring up my EQ just to see what it's at. All right, so I like that crispness. I'm gonna get rid of the little bit of the low mid. Bring the clap in. And I already got that tuned. EQ that as well. And you can use EQs. I use EQ. I mean not EQs. Presets all the time. As you can see, I make my own too, which you should, I think. But I mean, I'm addicted to using stuff like this because it's already just what you need. You know, it's already. I just only need 3 bands in those spots. You know, take out the bass, a little bit of mid, and a lot of treble. I like the treble in it, so I'm gonna put that up. Sometimes I'll bring it down. So let's pull it back though. What I originally put in here first was the 808. That's that. I thought it was a snare. It was actually the 808 because it's the second one I always do. You know, right through the mixer. First thing I put on the mixer is the first thing I work with. So the 808 originally, me and Mikal were sitting there like, man, we need some type of really heavy bounce. You know, nothing um too fast, nothing too slow, but something to keep just this melody going. You know, with the synths.
Try to keep it
So we
groovy.
picked out exactly. We picked out a Boy Wonder 808. Boy Wonder again. I know. I'll probably add some more drums to this too potentially, but maybe like a crash, something like that. But regardless, we got this 808.
Tough.
Just had it repeat 4 bars for a second, and then we needed a kick and some hi hats. So we were like, "Fuck, what are we gonna do? Like, you know, what are we gonna do with that 808? Because you can't really put a lot of kicks in that. With that 808 pattern, how it is so spacey, you
Mm.
can't put a lot of kicks because it's not gonna sound right. It's not gonna groove right. So we put the snare in there, we put the clap in there, and I originally put a hi hat in there, but there's not really much hi hats going on. You know, it's not a typical hip hop song as far as like with the hi hat patterns, with trap patterns, anything like that. It's not, in my opinion, not a trap song at all.
Right.
Oop, my bad, my bad. So we could put the kicks in. We got a Nick Mira kick, Frosty kick. It's an amazing, amazing pack. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
Ah, shit, we going in the sauce.
Yeah, I should blur all this out. So yeah, the kicks in here is just super, super good. This is the one I'm using. It's just real fast and just punchy like a kick should be.
Right.
Some of them I'm not big on. I'm really, really picky on my kicks. I'm really picky with my drums in general. If it's just a little bit too distorted, I won't even work with it. And it's kind of why I want to start making my own sound packs and start working with that. But that's another story. So we got this kick and we put it in there, kind of just wanting to complement the 808, and the snares, because I always work with my snares is one of the first things I always do. So we did some triplets at the beginning. We wanted something to immediately give us some bounce and some just give it a different feel. So we did that bump, 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 bump. It's just, I think, the perfect complement for that 808, and a lot of credit to Makaya for helping me, put this together. I like making a lot of music with him, and then also my boy J Cray, because they're just fun to work with. J Cray uses the rare J Cray. He uses Ableton, and he's just very good with his arrangements, and he's able to look over my shoulder on FL and just tell me like immediately, yo, like change that, change it. Like he's just fluid with a lot of different DAWs, even though he doesn't use FL, he knows how to be fluid with it pretty quickly.
Right.
And
Right.
it's just easy to work with him. Same thing with Makaya, very, very fluid with FL. So working with them is just super fun. And we got some hi hats and some open hats to work with too. When we honestly just layered them, we put the open hat every let's see, at the beginning at least. Um, oh, there it is. We got an open hat and just put it on right before the snare, and then just layered a hi hat over it, just to give it a little more bounce every 2 bars, or measures rather. Sorry. And we wanted a little bit different feel. So at the around the middle to ending of the song, we said, okay, let's switch it up a little bit and add some faster, almost trap like snares, because this hits like a West Coast or Detroit beat, like I said
100%.
many times, I think at least. And then we wanted to switch up a little bit because me being from Atlanta is just, we wanted that little bit of change. And again, credit to Micaiah, because he kind of took over on these hi hats a little bit. I had the bare bones of it, and he was like, "Nah, let me put a little bit of rolls on him. Spice him up a little
Yeah.
bit."
Yeah. Not for
And
sure.
he really went in. He really went in. And I told him, I was like, "Yo, we got to put a little bit of velocity
Look at the
changes in it."
velocity. Yeah. See, that's now. Wait. So you mentioned that this is a collab. Now, was this done in person or was this done online? I assume in person, right?
Yeah, he just moved. So I met Micaiah through my boy RJ the Guru. My boy RJ, I love him. He lived with me for a little bit. He mainly lives up in PA. He lives there now in PA, and just out of Bethlehem. And he hooked me up with this dude. He's real young when I met him, 19. Nokai, he was DMing me, yo, there's this producer and rapper. You need to meet him. He's moving to Houston. He's moving close to where you are. I mean, he moved 10 minutes from where I live. Literally, it's weird, and he doesn't know me. Like we never even talked to each other before. He's like, "Hey, I got my boy Mikal. He's moving down to Houston. He's moving like 10 minutes from you. You guys have to kick it. You have to meet each other." So I was like, "Yeah, fuck it. Just have him follow me and send me a DM or something." He DM'd me. I was like, "Yo, like, what's up, dude?" And he had listened to my music a little bit, and so he knew me through that and just through what RJ had said. And I pick him up one day. He's just sitting there skating in a parking lot, and I'm like, "All right, I'm gonna like this dude." I mess with him, and uh, I'm like, "Yo, you Makai?" He's like, "Yeah." And you Michael, and I pull up in my car. He gets in. We dap up, and immediately just got it cracking. Went to my crib like 5-10 minutes away. Started producing immediately. We got a lot of same interests too: wrestling, games, FL. Yeah, he's a cool dude. And he's a cool kid. He's just turned 20 too. He's really young, and he's got a lot of talent.
Let's go. That's fire, man. Good shout. Good shout. Yeah, no, for sure. That was definitely something I wanted to cover, because collabs are essential to music, but especially production. Production is something that benefits greatly from collabs, so I'm glad we got to go over something like this.
Yeah, and I love in person collabs. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah, definitely.
I know people, and I've done it too, but I know people that have flown across the country just to get some studio time in to collab with a couple of people, for the few couple of days we have. And I mean, we're not huge artists like with all this money to take off work or take time and money to put into these airline tickets. So I mean, and especially we're young, so dude, we're just trying to get it in however we can, and like something about being under the same roof is and collabing on a tape or collabing on a song or whatever. It's magic. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome.
Yep.
It's why me and Fury link up so much. He comes through every year. And I've been trying to get people to move to Houston forever. I mean, it's the third biggest city in the U.S. Like it's not it's not a bad city. It's not what people think Texas is with all the red state. That's the country. I'm not a. It's not like that in Houston. If you go an hour outside of Houston, yeah, sure, but you downtown or in the surrounding area, you can go 45 minutes. It's still concrete everywhere. You're
Right,
not in
right.
no country. So no, and I think also Houston has a really good music scene that I hope obviously will just get better.
100%, especially with like more and more independent and underground artists just learning
Yep.
how to navigate the area, it definitely will. Definitely.
Yep. And honestly, I think Atlanta and Houston are the next two big meccas for music. And Atlanta for TV shows and movies as well. I think it's going to be the next LA. Houston, I think, is going to just be very big, very, very big for music, just getting bigger. It already is kind of big. It's got some really prestigious studios here.
Yeah, absolutely, my friend. Absolutely. So collabs are everything. Collabs are
Yeah,
absolutely everything.
100%. 100%.
So back into these hi hats. What do you got for us, Michael?
So I had the bare bones, which is it was pretty much about we deleted some of it now, but it was something about lines of what you see here,
Mm.
just on the C sharp. There was no rolls or anything like that. And we went in, or he went in, and just put in some really quick rolls here. Let me mute it. Yeah, it's muted, so that just this. It's just all over the place in a good way. It's just
Absolutely.
the snare. It just keeps you um engaged, and it almost sounds like a snare roll in some of those parts, right? Like right here, or and right the G sharp. It almost sounds like a snare when it's a hi hat, and then you bring the snares and the claps back in, and the other hi hats. The hi hats and the open hi or the first hi hat and the open hi hat give it almost like a swooping feel right before the snare and the clap. It just feels good to me, man. Like it sounds good with those how those hi-hats roll.
I
And then
agree.
you put the kicks in the 808. I mean, dude, you could rap just that right there.
You totally could. Like, you totally could. They bounce
So,
so
and
well.
thank you. And as you can see, I like to work in patterns of eight measures. Um, I used I've changed it a lot over the years. I started off, it was just four. And then I started, okay, let's go to eight. And I started, well, fuck it, let's go to 16. That way, because most of my songs were, look, this is or not 18, 16. 16 right there is what, 30 seconds almost, damn near. So that's almost a verse, you know? So I was like, what? I'll just make it 16, working patterns 16. And then I said, well, fuck it, let's go to 32, you know? So I was doing patterns that fucking long in a
Jesus.
piano roll, you know? And then I met my boy Jay Cray. He was like, dog, you need to just go back to the 8 bars. I was like, yeah, you're right. I really do just need to work mainly with 8 bars. I'll still do those longer patterns and
Hmm.
stuff. It's just with hip hop, man, there's not really a need to, you know. I mean, there's a longer pattern here. That's 16 right there, and it goes for longer. It was like, I think something weird about like 24 measures, something like that. But still, it's just I was overworking myself. So I do use a lot of 8 bar patterns. But if you can, getting back to what I was saying, if you can rap to just that, just the drums, I mean, you're gold, you know? Even if you start with a melody, you just got to be able to, those drums got to hit. It doesn't matter what the fucking melody is. And vice versa. It doesn't matter where the drums is. If the melody sounds like beep, boop, 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 beep, beep, boop, boop, like nobody going to listen to that bullshit, you know? So you got to get that melody right too, or that sample right too. And then it all together just, it flows well. So getting back to the mixing a little bit before we get back to the arrangement, I like to put an EQ on a lot of my stuff. Sometimes I don't think it needs it, and as you can see, I panned it a little bit here. I use a limiter a good amount, and with my master, I normally keep it about negative 3.5 decibels, but I'll probably keep it about 2.5 here. And then with Maximus, I always put Maximus on my limiter. I mean, not my limiter, my master. My master typically doesn't look much different than this. Um, I like Maximus as a mastering plugin because it has a lot of presets that I can work with. And a lot of people don't understand is when they use it's like a meme at this point at a producer or in the producer community.
Hmm.
When you use where is it? Not gross beat.
It's Clipper, FL Clipper or some shit.
Um you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Sound Godizer.
Oh
Fuck the
God.
Sound
Oh
Godizer.
no.
So when you're using this, all this is here is presets to because I know a bunch of people. They're like, yeah, I love Sound Godizer. I was like, do you know what it does? Uh, I was like, no. All right, well, let me show you. All it is these presets right here. A B C D. You go to Sound Godizer, A B C D, and this is your mix level. That's it. That's all it does. If you like Sound Godizer, get into Maximus. That's all you got to do. Sound Godizer is just Maximus using less CPU and using those 4 presets. That's it.
Hey, free sauce right here from Michael Jones, man. Free fucking
So
sauce.
with my mastering, I always go into here and I'll pretty much use these two um, presets on my master. A lot of times I use RMS, but I'm gonna go with Clear Master here, and they're gonna put, as you can see, the pre-gain is fucking high as shit, you know, especially on the bass. So I'm just gonna turn that down just right off the bat to about 3, um, just because I know it's gonna be a little bit distorted, you know. But with that post lower, it kind of evens itself out. it's not as bad. It's not as just distorted or anything like that. But it keeps it gets it louder a little bit. With Clearmaster RMS, it's a little bit more drastic, as you can see there, and with some other changes as well in this. But it's really loud, as you can hear there. It's super distorted. So that, I mean, I do like RMS because of the other changes as well, but keep it about the 3. Um, this is already not mastered, but mixed a little bit. Why is this all the way over here? Just a tad bit equalized, shit like that. So I want to go in there and put some reverb in there for real. Again, presets. I use a lot of presets, just work off them all the time. I don't want any delay in the reverb. A little bit less bass. And now I want to put my own delay on there that's not part of the reverb. Again, presets. Because I can immediately go and just, mono echo or whatever, and then go from there, or 3 echoes. This is probably what it needs, though. So I put it in the time to 6, just to give it more feel, more depth. Because even when you pause it, you can just it keeps going a little bit. So especially when you get on your outros and your intros, it just sounds so sick. And I'll probably turn the delay volume down just a tad. And then also, the thing about it is I only want this delay in the intro and outro. So what I'm gonna do is highlight that delay.
A little tutorial incoming.
And then automation. Automation's key, man. You're not gonna see me do it a lot here because there's just a lot of mixing to be done in this song. Won't get it done all in one podcast, but you do want to automate a lot of stuff. You don't want stuff just static, as I like to say. It's like a car bagged versus a car just static, or like, just staying just not bagged. You can move it when you want like this, or you can just keep it fucking rigid as shit, my man, and it's gonna ride like shit.
It's gonna ride like shit, he says. Hey, that's a good analogy, though. That's a very good analogy.
But I do want to bag my car. Oh, I want to bag my car. Someone give me money so I can bag my car. So the delay, I want it to get really intense here at the end of the intro. This whole part right here is the intro of these 16 measures. So, and also, I think it was Skrillex that said this in an interview or something, or in a podcast or whatever the fuck. I think he said you never want boxes or straight lines in your automation. And I think he uses Ableton. I thought about that. And I was like, yeah, I can think of a lot of times where you want straight lines. So I don't obviously agree with it perfectly or all the way, but I do agree with it to an aspect. So like right here, if you just kept it like this, it's just, I don't know, it doesn't have the same feel of building up if you were to just warp it just a tad, warp the percentage just a tad. So I'm gonna try it like this, see how it works, see how it feels. Because that's, man, mostly what I do is just messing around, having fun with it. So I want that to ride a little bit longer, actually. So I'm gonna bring this, copy it, so I know where it's at 77%, and pull it over to all 16 and paste. And there you go. It's the same percentage as it was. then I want it again over here. But I want it a different way. I don't want all 16 bars, you feel me? So I got to make another automation clip. That's why it's just, you're not going to see me do a lot of automation now because just get it done later. You know, it's a lot of tedious work.
For sure, for sure.
Automation's key though. So, go through here, you know, I want a little bit of reverb for my snares, get some drum room reverb, and just makes it real crisp. I'm going to do the same on this one too.
I'm gonna do the same on this one too.
I love fruity reverb too, and because it's layered too, I want it about the same reverb as well, you know, and it's pretty similar. Oh shit! I put it on my fucking. See, this is why you need to label shit. Put it on my fucking 808 on accident. Because my snare and my claps sound pretty similar, I want it around the same reverb. And I'm gonna bring it down volume to like 50. And it just sounds a lot crisper. It sounds a lot better to me. And I got the sweep here, so I want, again, reverb. But I'm gonna go with Cathedral preset, no delay, lots and lots of size, wide open. Because I want it to sound almost like it's in a cathedral, you know, a big ass room. And I may put actually some delay here too. Yeah, I like that. I like that delay a lot. And with these hi-hats, I don't do a lot of my hi-hats. I don't do a lot of my snares because I want them to keep them kind of bass, you know, what they sound like from the pack, you know.
Right, right.
That's why I picked certain sounds, you know. I want them to sound punch like they do when they're coming out of the pack, when the fucking producer or engineer who made them, you know, what they think this to sound like. Obviously warp whatever you want, do whatever you want. It's just I like these sounds for this song, you know. So I'm not gonna do a lot, you know. I'm just gonna kind of make it complement the beat around it, complement the drums around it. And I'm putting a limiter on this because it seems just getting kind of high in certain spots with that roll. And just a simple limiter, just default preset, you know, just to keep it at level. A little bit of reverb. No delay. Put it down to like 25 actually on this one. Don't want a lot. Bring this up. I could compress it, but fuck it. And you could go through and delete all these bands. You don't really need to. It's up to you really. Veterans of FL know why I don't. It's just a lot of fucking time, you know, and you don't really, like I said, really need to.
Right.
A tip that I got with my kicks though was from my boy. Actually, no, I won't say who it was. I won't spill that sauce. But I did get a tip to use a New York compression on my kicks to keep them to really, really punch. I do that on a lot of my kicks, is put that New York compression on there. So Maximus has that as a preset. Where is it? Right here in the insert presets, New York compression. It does obviously, it's not going to sound great with every single kick, but with the right kick, it just sounds good. It just makes it punch so much more.
Very crisp.
You know, and it's also a limiter, you know, so it keeps it in level as well. And I've already gone through and like adjusted this a little bit, so I'm not going to redo that, just because it's a lot of knob turning, a lot of testing. Now, once you get your drums and your sample, melody, whatever you want to call it, and what you want it to sound like, that's what's left is what you want to sound like, the arrangement. So we chose to make it kind of shorter. It's only 2:19. So some people that's about right. You know, some people that's a long song. Some people that's a normal song. To me, that's short. That's very, very, very short. I think a 3 minute song short. I think 4 or 5 minutes is about how long a song should be, but or 3.5, 4 minutes. You know, that's about average. But hey, I'm as you grew up listening to music from the '90s and from the '80s and like shit like Pink Floyd and shit will go on for 12 minutes. You
12
know,
minutes? Nah, yeah, you're not lying. You're not lying.
or so I'm biased. I'm definitely biased. Or hip hop, where I'm a Kendrick fan. You know, I love Kendrick. So "Sing About Me Dying of Thirst" is that's 12 minutes. You know,
Mhm.
or 7 minutes, and the extended version's 12. You know, it's like that's a long song for. There's parts of that song where it's a couple minutes to just interlude, you know, on instrumental or just instrumental playing or him speaking or you know him rapping. So there's a lot going on, and that's I love that. I love that, dude. Tell me a fucking story. I'll sit. I'm the type of person. I'll sit there for however long it takes. I will take time to if I want to listen to it, to take time to listen to it, no matter how long it is, how short it is, whatever. But I prefer those long songs, and that's what I want to do with my music sometimes. So this is a little bit shorter for me. So we wanted to, as you can see, I was working on the intro a little bit with the delay, but gets right into it, the melody and the synths, you know? No fade in really on the volume, which I do a lot. And then, boom, 808. Kind of ominous.
Jurassic Park shit.
And then straight into just the bass, like of the drums, you know? Almost teasing you, like you want those hats to drop, you know? And honestly, right here, I'm gonna cut it to where it's just the melody, just to give it a little bit more of like that teasing feeling, you know. And then right back to it. In fact, we're gonna delete this and just copy and paste it over, make it loop, and then right into the beat, right into the hi-hats. So that's really your main intro goes about 26 seconds as you look at the top left, and then I first verse, build up, whatever you want to call it. Hell, intro, more of the intro goes
Right.
to about a minute. So a lot of this song is like build up. I wanted a lot of build up and release in this song, and then you finally get that release with the hi hats. And then you get the breakdown. So you take all the 808s away, you take the hi hats away. Well, the fast hi hats rather, the rhythm hi hats. Take it out, 808, come in. And then into outro. So
She.
really how I structure my stuff is typically how I look at it is it'll be like an intro, a little like build up or verse one, which you could say this is verse one is two. You know, this is kind of odd for me to do. And then view verse one, breakdown, verse two, outro. That's how I do it a lot, especially for Fury or for RJ, Heretic, who I need to send beats to. Um, yeah, that's how I structure most of my beats, just to keep it simple on the rapper. I feel like because if it's kind of just intro, verse one, breakdown, verse two, outro, they can put their hook wherever they want. They can put their verses wherever they want, so forth. And that's honestly, I'm probably not using the right terms with the verse one and verse two and the
Oh
the
no, yeah,
breakdown,
for sure, for
etc.
sure. No, I definitely
But
understand what you mean, and I'm sure the audience does as well. Because
yeah,
when you want to talk about structure here, I feel like it's such a good formula that you have going when it comes to your structure. Just because the beat itself and the instrumental itself is not getting repetitive, it's not getting, just drawn out. Like it's always changing and yet staying the same. And artists will definitely pick up on that. And like you said, it's a lot easier for them to be able to hop on.
and I feel like, as odd as it will sound, I feel like I get that progression from my days of being a kid listening to a lot of EDM. Like, I grew up on hip hop and rock, but also EDM, like drum and bass and progressive house. And progressive house has a lot of progressive or progression in it, hence
Right.
the fucking name, So there will be repetition, but not so much that you're like, all right, fuck this shit. Like
Yeah.
you're bringing, it's like every six or every 8 bars or 16 bars, bringing or measures. You're bringing in a new taste or a new flavor, a new sound, and then you're taking it away. Then you bring it back, take everything away, strip it down. That's what I did with this breakdown here was just strip it down. Even with the melody, what I was about to show you, this is the full melody that he made. It's about, as you can see, 41, 40 measures. It's pretty long. And you know what? I'm actually take it, and that'll be the intro. Fuck all that stuff. And then he brought those voices in. Like, he made all this with the piano roll. I'm sad that I didn't keep it now. Like, at least keep the progression and stuff,
Right.
in the piano roll. The stems, rather, the bones. And he showed me that. I was like, man, I can get on that easy. I can work with that easy. And he actually, this was a collab he gave me for my birthday. He sent me this pack for my birthday, and we worked with it in person. So I heard that, I was like, man, I can work with that and just chop it up like I did. Use different parts of it. So that's the intro, and then the meat of it. Right there is kind of repeats. And there's a little bit of clicking there, which I'll have to get rid of. But have it just repeat with the hi-hats and then bring it all out. This is technically the outro he made. I just made it, used it for the breakdown,
Right.
and then brought it back in with the 808, bringing it all the way full circle with the 808. Ba-da-dun. And then out to the outro. But yeah, pretty much the only thing else I would do to this, really, maybe put a crash to it. But even then, I don't actually. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna put a crash in it. So let's open this up a little bit and see. So we're working with a little bit of Nick Mira. Let's see what crashes we got going on here. Oh, he doesn't even have crashes this week. There we go. Technically an open hat, but like you can always use them for a crash,
Definitely.
or here we go. So this is a really cool pack that I got. It's got a lot of drums in it, and as you can see, a lot of crashes. You got some 808 crashes, some old crashes, like almost old Memphis style crashes. You feel me? And some reverses that you can use as almost transitions into next, which is, I mean, awesome. You can always do that. I really like that clean crash. So I'm not even gonna put it into a actually, yes, I will, just to show you guys how I tune. So you make a new pattern. I want every 8 bars. You go and bring it into your channel rack, put it onto a mixer. Like I said, no loop points. It's at D. Take that off new tone real quick. Go back into the piano, and we're on pattern 8 right there. And what did it say? It was D. Is that what it said? I'm dumb. Yeah, it's D. Redundant. Take off new tone, or take off new tone again. Take this, put it to D. And everything else I had was what? C? Yeah, C. I believe. No, C sharp. Velocity up a little bit. And I'm just gonna have it every honestly every 8 beats. Actually, no, I may have it every 4 because I like it. Bring the velocity down to the fourth one. Or fifth rather. Yeah, I like
That's
that.
tough. Yeah, that's definitely tough.
I'm gonna bring the velocity down just a tad more. Because I don't want it just too repetitive on the crash. And it almost makes it sound like, with it being a small or a lower velocity, almost makes it sound like it's a different note, even though it's not. It almost sounds like it's a lower note. And I'm gonna have it in the breakdown as well, I think. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, that actually came out super tough.
Now I'm gonna mix it down a little bit. A little bit of reverb on there. And I'll actually use a different one. Instead of Fruity Reverb 2, I'll use Convolver, another awesome reverb plugin. I'm not using it right now a lot because it just takes a little bit more CPU. Because as you can see, just a lot of presets, and there's more you can do with it. There is just, you know, without a doubt. So I kind of want, again, a cathedral type feel, maybe an auditorium type feel, or church. So I'm gonna go with church distant, and just bring the wetness up just a tad, and then bring the volume down just a tad. Put a limiter on there, and that's about it. The only thing else this beat needs is, as you can see, some organization with the color and the labeling, and some mixing, a little bit more mixing. The song's ready to go. Send to an artist.
Let's fucking go, Michael Jones. See, now that is how you break an instrumental down. That just about brings us to the end of Workshop Wednesdays, episode 2, but we do have a couple more questions for you, my friend.
Shoot.
First things first, what do you have planned for the rest of 2022 and the upcoming fall and winter seasons?
Dose of Daybreak, and every month, which I'm late this month, unfortunately. Just had a lot of stuff going on, some health issues with the family, but it's looking a little bit better. And then as far as Dose of Daybreak, yeah, that's every month. And then I have an album I'm working on. This is kind of like the first time publicly talked about it. I put out a tweet a couple of days ago, just saying, sneak peek on the artwork, and that's it. So that essentially was officially the first announcement of it, and then this is, the first time I've really told anybody publicly. Yeah, I got an album that's going to be coming out. It's going to be called 13. It's going to be 13 songs, and it will be all instrumentals. Um, Unless something changes in my heart where I'm like, yeah, I need some vocalists on there, which may happen. There may be a song or two on there that you may see as a vocalist on there, but for the most part, I think it's going to be a lot of songs just like this one.
I love that. I love that.
You may even see this song on there. A lot of stuff that I'm not using sample, even though it says sample right there. I just have that as a placeholder because he made it. I don't know what to put, what to name it.
I do that as well, actually. It's funny you do that.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't know what to name the sample the loop he made for me. So, but yeah, it's all homegrown and homebrewed stuff. It's probably not going to have a lot of sampling. Everything that's in it, you'll probably that you'll hear is probably going to be all made by me or the producer that is featured on there, like Mikal, as you see with the synth work that he did. He made that on the piano himself, etc. So I'm kind of breaking away from the sampling a little bit. And it's probably gonna be a little bit of darker tones, but yeah, a lot, and it's not going to be the last. It may or may not be or the series, a starting of a series of albums. We'll
Shit
see.
like that, bro, is so fucking important. I'm glad you're doing that. I'm glad you're doing that because as a producer, people need to do a lot more of that instead of trying to constantly chase placements and collabs because I think that's fine. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Chase placements and collabs, but don't forget that you're an artist too, and it's okay to put out an album that you love and it's all instrumentals and show off what you can do as a producer. So I think that's a really, really good thing, bro. A really good
Thank
thing.
you. And it's two people or two things rather that have really led me to this decision to make my own album series is the old school Alchemist tapes,
Wow.
instrumental tapes, rapper's best friend tapes. I mean, I've fallen in love with those tapes. Like Alchemist, he can do no wrong. And I've had a couple people. It's kind of like a running joke between Fury and like my boy Dad, just a couple people that have come through the studio, and my studio is named Sanctuary. Who've come through Sanctuary, they've been like, yeah, you're the underground alchemist. So like, how can I not take a little bit of inspiration from Alk? You know,
Right?
um, I've been listening to a lot of him, and then some the EDM influence. As me as a little kid, I want to get back to that root. You may hear some drum and bass. I may just fuck around and make an EDM fucking tape. It may not be the 13 album, but I may mess around and put out an EP or an album of just instrumental work. That's just if you know who Noisa is, or Camo and Crooked. There's gonna be some really high caliber, heavy, fast paced shit inspired by them.
Love that. Love that. See, this is what we love to hear. All right, so 2022, you got a lot of big, big plans coming. You've been grinding your ass off. Dose of Daybreak. You've actually been killing it with Dose of Daybreak, and I feel like we should take a minute to speak on that for a little bit because Dose of Daybreak, Mikal, pretty much came up with the project name and curates and crafts these mixes of underground classics, new underground music, some of Michael's favorites, some of other people's favorites. Like Mikal has been putting together mixes for Music Mondays for the last couple of months. And if you haven't heard of Dose of Daybreak, definitely go check that out on our SoundCloud. Absolutely.
Yeah, they're super, super, super fun to make. I love that's how I get my DJ fix in. I get to DJ every month for something. I don't get to DJ live enough. I want to do more shows, more events, etc. I love DJing, and as a producer, that's all you can really do is in a live performance is have a DJ set.
Right.
And again, that's why I want to get into vocal work too, because I do love having a mic in my hand.
Let's fucking go. See, big plans coming from Mikal, man. See, this is gonna be inspirational for not only some producers, but even some artists are gonna be able to take from this and be like, okay, bro, like I'm about to put my fucking grind on, man. So before we log, where can the people find you? Shout some people out. Send us a message. What do you want the people to know about Michael Jones in September of 2022?
Man, I get that question a lot from people that figure out that I'm a music producer, a musician. You can Google my name and find me, Michael Jones,
Hey,
Mikaljones, and put a music in there, and it will bring up nothing but me. SoundCloud, just look up Michael Jones, SoundCloud.com/Michael Jones. Twitter, I think it's Michael Jones Prod, production. Or just best bet, look up Michael Jones music and it'll go straight to my Instagram or my SoundCloud or my Spotify
for
or
sure.
my title.
Everything, if you're watching on YouTube, everything will be linked down in the description. Everything that Michael mentioned, all of his socials will be down linked in the description if you made it this far.
Yeah. And I want to shout out Dead, my boy in Houston, J Crave, Houston boy as well. Micaiah, who helped me make this beat. Big help. And then 777 Fury, my boy out in Vegas. Lord Heretic out in Sacramento. Just much love to all of them, man. Kuma out in Detroit, Dear God out in Detroit. Shout out Team Sesh.
Yep.
That's my big bro, man. Shit, I wouldn't be the same producer if it wasn't for those people that I named, and more obviously. But if it wasn't for those people, I wouldn't be the same producer for sure.
Let's fucking go,
And
man.
speaking of Lord Heretic and 777 Fury, what this is it's the September 21st now. They're having a show in Vegas October 8th that I'm supposed to show up for. I'm supposed to be in the crowd for. So if you're in Vegas or on the West Coast, shit, even in LA, that's not even far from Vegas. If you're in California, if you're in Salt Lake City or any of the surrounding areas, go to Vegas for the day, October 8th. Um, get a cool ass show. I think it's free. If it's not free, it's like $5 or $10, and that's like, dude, if you don't got $5 $10, like, bro, if you don't go like get something done with your life, like, and get that
Legit.
$5 $10 to fucking get that show going. But yeah, show up. I'm trying to be there. I want to be there. I may or may not right now because flights. But yeah, if you're in the area, go to it. October 8th. Just follow 777 Fury or Lord Heretic, and you will find the info.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And come mosh with me.
Let's fucking go, man. Vegas, you better pop out. Beat these motherfuckers there. I know you can find the information on my page, Heretic's page, Fury's page, everybody's page. We'll let you know. And that'll be linked down in the description as well. So that about does it for Workshop Wednesday, episode 2. Huge shout out to anybody in the chat. Huge shout out to Michael Jones.
Someone
Michael's
just asked if there's an LA show for Lord Heretic. For Lord Heretic, I don't believe so, but I think Oni Inc. and Citrus, and who else? Vitamin, uh, Lord Distortion, a couple other people are going on tour on the West Coast and in the South, Mid South rather, Midwest. They're going to like Salt Lake City. I think they're hitting LA, but you'll see Lord Heretic there. He's going to be on tour. He's not performing, but he's going to be on tour with them, helping him out. So go say hi to him. Just follow Lord Heretic. You'll find the info. He's posting it pretty much every day. Pretty easy to find.
So once again, that about does it for Workshop Wednesday, episode 2. Huge shout out to Michael Jones. Huge shout out to everybody that tuned in, showed love. Huge shout out to Tyler, Ryuki, anybody else, Mark. I saw you in there as well. Huge shout out to you guys for tuning in, showing love.
I didn't even peep chat the entire time. I'm so sorry, guys. Because I
well,
just
we normally need to keep this free flow, so it's probably best we don't anyway. I like to really like touch on it, as we can throughout the show.
I do want to thank them because I just realized they were active. Like, I do want to think that means a lot.
Right.
Thank you for anybody following, anybody watching.
So, you can expect another episode of Workshop Wednesday in October. We'll definitely be cooking up a special guest. So, huge shout out to everybody. Huge shout out to Michael Jones. We'll see you guys next month. And of course, make sure you tune into Music Mondays this Monday live at twitch.tv/onplays.
Thanks for having me, bro.
We love
Thanks
you
for
guys.
having me.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. I love you guys. Take care. I'll see you guys probably tomorrow or tonight. I'll be streaming pretty much, every day regardless. But Music Mondays this Monday. Be there. Be square. I love you guys. Take care. Find this on YouTube as well. Subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel. We're approaching 70 subs, so if you haven't subbed there, go do that. Go do that. I love you guys. Take care. Be safe. Later.